It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice. Looks like psychosis. Life on relationship blow. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice. Looks like psychosis. We live on relationship road.
It's Wednesday, and it's Rachel's first day at her new school. She is both excited and also a bit nervous. Shona, her mum, is taking her to the school gate, but she is not allowed to go any further with her daughter. However, the school has tried really hard to make Rachel and Bridget feel welcome. They sent the girls a video of the school, showing the front door and the corridor, and also pictures of the classrooms and the playground. They also added little welcome messages from the teachers who will be taking care of them, so that the girls know who their teachers are, and perhaps more importantly, what they look like. This has helped not only the girls to feel more comfortable about their new school, but also Shona, as this school is new to her as well. The only thing that she would have liked to be different would be for the both girls to start on the same day. But Rachel, being in the class above Bridget, is starting 2 days earlier than her sister. Bye Mum, bye Bridget, calls Rachel, waving to her mum and sister and trying to be brave. She is met in the playground by a teacher who she recognises from the video, and within a moment she has gone inside. Shona just hopes that Rachel is happy at this new school and make friends quickly, because the way that Rachel feels might influence the way that Bridget experiences the school. For Bridget, who has just turned 5, this is a big deal and her first proper school, but she often follows her sister's lead, so if Rachel is happy, then hopefully Bridget will feel the same. The girls are very close. Bridget wants to go into school with her sister, but unfortunately she will have to go inside alone on Friday, as her class will be starting half an hour after Rachel's class. Shona can tell that Bridget is apprehensive, so while she chats to her on the way home, she says a lot of reassuring things. Having to take this reassuring approach with Bridget is actually very good for Shona, because in truth she feels as apprehensive as her daughter, possibly even more so. She worries about whether the children will settle into this new school, especially Rachel, who is missing her friends from where they used to live and from her old school. Shona also worries about whether the girls will become infected with the coronavirus, even though she knows that the school is doing all that it can to protect both the children and the staff. Shona finds herself worrying about lots of things, and Jerry has always told her that she worries too much about the small stuff. Now she has taken the decision to try and deal with this actively by engaging with the advice given on a website called thereachapproach.co.uk, which she found from an internet search. It offers free advice for people who are anxious about the pandemic, and she has discovered there are lots of other helpful resources on the site, and amazingly most of them are free. She is trying to read at least one article a week, but her favourite one so far is an affirmation around health and COVID-19, and she is repeating the affirmations to herself several times a day, and she feels that it is really helping her. This is her own little project, something for herself, and she feels good about dealing with her issues without relying on Jerry for support all of the time. Shona plays with Bridget, and they bake porridge muffins with peaches and blueberries for when Rachel comes home from school. Shona absent-mindedly begins to think about what her days will be like when both of the girls are at school all day. I wonder if I should try and find some part-time work. But then what kind of work can I do? I haven't worked since I had Rachel. I got pregnant with Bridget so quickly after Rachel that I never went back. I can't work full-time, but even a little extra money would take a bit of pressure off Jerry. His promotion at work has made things better for us, but then we moved house and that has taken all of our savings. I'm sure there's lots I can do, but it has to fit around school, and that makes it difficult when school holidays come around so frequently. Her thoughts are interrupted by Bridget, who can't find one of her favourite toys. Let's get this first term out of the way, she thinks as she heads into the other room with Bridget tugging her hand. In number 4, Olive and Dan are feeling pretty upbeat. Despite their more mature years, they are not obsessing about COVID, and now that people are able to move around again, they have decided to take a midweek break. They feel that going abroad as they had planned may be taking a risk, but they are happy to take a break within their own country, which is something they haven't done for some time. It feels a bit strange to think that we will be tourists in our own country, comments Olive, putting the final toiletries into her wash bag. I know, laughs Dan, but I feel quite enthusiastic about it now that the time has arrived. I must admit, I wasn't that keen on the idea when you first suggested it. But you're right, there's no point sitting here every day just waiting to die when we can be out there enjoying and living. Now, I don't think I said anything quite that extreme, replies Olive, giving her husband a playful nudge. Olive and Dan have been together for over 30 years. They both had been married before and both had separated and divorced. When they met all those years ago, everything seemed to click and they have been happy together ever since. After Dan took early retirement from the bank, they decided that Olive might as well also take early retirement when she reached 60, and they would be able to pursue their shared love of travelling. They have had just 2 years of foreign adventures, and then the pandemic came along and ruined their plans for 2020. You know, we might have only had 2 big foreign holidays, but at least we had them, says Olive, who usually manages to look on the bright side of things. Some people don't even have these memories. We have been very lucky, really. I know, you're right, says Dan, but I would have liked a few more. After all, we waited long enough. I know we've been lucky, but let's not forget that we've worked hard all our lives to get to this point. It's not our fault we couldn't have children, and so we were able to save money. That reminds me, he continues, I was talking to Jimmy the other day in the corner shop about our disappointment at not going away this year, and he said something to the effect that we were luckier than most to be able to plan a big holiday in Africa. Olive can see that Dan is getting irate and agitated, remembering the conversation with Jimmy. I know what people think about us. They seem to think that we were born with a silver spoon in our mouths, and I got a bit miffed about it. So I looked him straight in the eye and I said to him, it's not luck, Jimmy. It's hard work that got us to where we are right now, and going without in the first years of our marriage. We had nothing back then. We had second-hand furniture and lived in a tiny flat until we had saved enough money for a deposit on a house. Other people were blessed with children, but that also drained them financially. We weren't blessed in that way, so we're enjoying the most of life right now. That's not luck, Jimmy. You get too uptight about what other people think, chastises Olive gently, though she knows what Dan means. She too has been told how lucky her life is, and although she does feel blessed to have found Dan, other people don't recognise that they would have swapped their careers and foreign holidays to have been able to have children. They weren't so lucky in that department. People will always judge without knowing all of the facts, she says to Dan. I thought you would have grown a thicker skin by now. Come on, stop worrying about what other people may or may not think, and give some thought to our mini adventure. That should cheer you up. And then they begin to discuss the places that they hope to visit and suitable places to eat. It's a pain that everything has to be booked ahead now, comments Dan, still feeling a bit wound up. I miss not being able to be spontaneous about where to go and where to eat. This wretched virus means that everything has to be pre-booked. I do understand that it's the only way that places can manage numbers and social distancing, but it's still annoying. I know, says Olive sympathetically, but it does give us time to research places better, and so we should have a better experience. I think you have to look at it that way. You're right, says Dan, brightening up. Now that reminds me, I need to pack that article about the castle and the gardens we plan to visit. and with that he heads off to the other room to get the article he wants to read. Olive smiles. It would be good to get away for a few days, she thinks. We could do with something to look forward to. Just then, Brendan walks past the house and gives Dan a wave. Dan waves back and Brendan smiles, to think that just a short while ago he didn't know anyone in Relationship Road, and now he has met several people. Brendan has met up with Connor a few times since the missing dog saga, and they have gone to the woods to take Dinky for a walk. Twice now, Brendan has gone back to the house for tea with Connor and Rosa. The children are usually busy doing their own thing, so he is getting to know the couple quite well. But today he is walking around the roads on his own in the hope of seeing Paula. He knows that she lives in one of the houses opposite Peter and Alice, but he doesn't know which one, and he doesn't think he should go knocking to look for her. She's probably married anyway, he thinks a bit despondently. Even if she isn't, I'm not sure she'd want to see me. Then he catches himself and his negative self-talk. He is definitely getting better at noticing for himself how he can spiral into a dark place if he doesn't watch how he thinks. He remembers again the brief encounter that he had with Paula when she took charge of Alice and the Dinky situation, and he remembers how she smiled at him. He walks around the block for a second time, but still he doesn't see her. Brendan returns home, feeling just a little disappointed. But his children are visiting him after school, and so he is looking forward to that. It's been a long while since they came over, but their mother, Laura, has finally agreed that they can visit him in the flat again. He has made a pretty good shepherd's pie for them, so hopefully they will all be happy about that. He feels a bit apprehensive meeting the children from school, but he is happy to do so. Laura had said that there was no point in her driving to collect them, and then take them round to his flat when he could go and get them himself. He has to wait outside of the school gates with a mask on, and when he sees them, his heart jumps in his chest. He is so happy to be with them again. Julia actually runs over to meet him while Rory strolls over behind her, but Brendan can tell that he is pleased to see his dad again. They all hug and head back to his flat to share the food that he has prepared. I wish it could always be like this, Brendan thinks. But then he reminds himself to simply enjoy the moment, so that's exactly what he does. If you have something you would like to share, or a concern you would like addressed, please send it in and we will try and incorporate it into the future storylines. Tune in again for the next episode of Relationship Road.
Welcome to Relationship Road, where people live just like me and you, alone or together in all kinds of weather, and most of them are scared of this flu. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show. What kind of neighbor am I? Am I doing my bit for the road? My parents are elderly, my children disorderly, the whole world is suddenly slow. What's going on over there? It's none of my business, I know, but I couldn't help but notice it looks like psychosis. The pressure's starting to show. And if you need me, let me know. I will be the first